In this video, we are going to see what are the concepts and skills we require to become a backend developer. And in this complete video, I will be guiding you through the roadmap, and also I will be telling you what are the concepts you should know so that you can become a professional backend developer. I will be walking through the step-by-step process so that it will be helping you in your journey to become a backend developer. Okay, now before knowing what are the skills required to become a backend developer, let's understand what is this backend, why we have to use this backend programming language, or why we have to learn backend. Okay, now if I just take an example, now if you are visiting some hotel and inside that hotel you are ordering for something. Okay, you will see the menu and you will order for something, and after some time you will be receiving your order. But you will not know the process, how they have cooked, how much salt they have put. You will not be aware of such things, so that is called as backend programming. How it is going to work, you will not be able to see. Only thing you will be receiving is the food. Okay, that is nothing but that will be the front end, and the process which you cannot see, that is called as backend. Now if I take another example of our exams, now whenever we are writing exams, we are going to submit the paper and finally we will be receiving the marks. Okay, based on the questions we have written, we are going to receive the marks, and we don't know how the teacher is going to correct. Okay, the teacher will not correct in front of us, so the teacher will correct separately, so that is called as backend. We will not be aware of that process. That will be the backend process which we cannot see, and the front end is which we can see. So this is all about backend. If you are creating any website, there will be some backend process going on. Okay, like if you are submitting form using backend programming, we will be writing some logic so that the data will be sent directly to the server, and that data will be stored inside the database, and whenever we require, we can just access that data and we can display in our website. Okay, this is how backend it is going to work. So for front end, we are having front end developers, and for backend we are having backend developers. And if you want to become both, okay, if you want to work as a front end and also if you want to work as a backend, then you have to learn both the technologies, both the concepts, whatever comes inside front end and backend, and then you will be considered as full stack developer. Okay, full stack developer is nothing but who will be having knowledge on both front end and backend. Okay, now if you want to become professional backend developer, then you should know some concepts, and also you should be having some skills so that you can apply all the logic. You will be able to make your code in such a way that user can interact with the website, user can send the data, and you can receive the data. Okay, this is how backend process will work. Okay, now here I am having this browser. Okay, now this is the browser. Okay, let me just consider this is the Chrome browser. Now if I request something from here, www.google.com, the request will be sent to server, and inside this some process happens. Okay, we really don't want to go inside that one, how it is going to work, how the domain name will be searched inside the server. We are not going to see that one. Okay, once it matches, okay, www.google.com, once it matches, it will be sending me the response. And if you are having some data, that data will be stored inside the database. And if I want some form data, or if I just want some user data, and from this database, whatever data is being stored, that data will be sent to my browser and that will be displayed to me. Okay, this is how backend process will work. And whatever logic we are writing here, to find the domain name or to find any data, that will not be visible to any user. Okay, that is completely backend, and nobody can see what logic we have written. Now we are going to see step-by-step learning process, how you can start with becoming a backend developer. Okay, if you want to become a front-end developer or if you want to become backend developer, then the first thing you should know is how internet works. You should learn about internet. You should know whenever you are requesting something, how you are receiving the data, what are HTTP protocols, what are HTTPS protocols, where the data will be stored, how the data will be processed. Okay, basic concept you have to know about internet, only then you will be able to work properly. Okay, let it be any technology, let it be any domain, you should know the basic concept of internet. Okay, we are using internet. Without internet we cannot survive at this moment, so you should be aware how it is working. Suppose if internet fails while submitting our paper or while doing some work, how irritated we get. So you should actually know how it works. Okay, how you are getting the data whenever you are request, how only that data you are receiving, based on the keywords, how you are getting the data, everything you should be aware of that. Okay, then second thing, you have to learn basics of front end so that you can interact with front end developers and you can give your more inputs to that website, and you can create the more better logic if you can interact with the front end developers. Okay, so you should know these basic concepts. Okay, you should be having basic skills of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, HTML will be giving the structure to our website, and also it will tell what content should be displayed in our website. And using CSS we can give stylings to our website, and whatever content we have written using HTML, using CSS we can tell where that content should be displayed, how much width I should give for that content, what color I have to give, everything I can tell to my website. And using JavaScript I can add behavior to my website. Whenever I click on the buttons, this form should be open or this form should be closed. Okay, whatever behavior I want to add, I can just add using JavaScript. Okay, these are the front-end technologies you have to know to get started with backend programming. Okay, now most people, what they do is, to become a backend developer, first they will start directly with server. They will start reading about the servers, then they will start reading about the databases, then programming languages, then finally they will start reading about APIs. Okay, directly you should not start with these concepts. Okay, before that you should know some of the basic concepts of operating systems. You should know about operating system, why we have to use operating system. Is it possible to work without operating system? No, right? So we are having many operating systems, like we are having Windows operating system, we are having Linux, we are having Unix. Okay, based on your requirement, whichever you feel that is comfortable for you, you can select any one of the operating system. You can learn completely about that, or you can just learn basic about that, so that you will be having clear idea how operating system works and how our code will be running on different platforms. Okay, now here you can see here operating system is nothing but we are having the hardware. Okay, that is nothing but our machine. Inside that we will be installing or we will be downloading the operating system. Let it be Linux or let it be Windows, whatever we feel, we are going to install that one. And inside operating system we will be having all the applications. We are having plenty of applications. Okay, whenever we want to use that application, user will interact with us. Okay, users are nothing but we are the users. Whenever I want to use Google, I am just going to open Chrome application. If I just want to view some data, if I just want to make some document, then I will be opening Word application. Okay, this is how user is going to interact with the applications, and applications will be inside the operating system, and operating system will be installed inside our machine. Okay, that is nothing but hardware, laptop, desktop, whatever it is, we are going to install operating system inside that one. And there are plenty of options available in the market. Okay, we are having plenty of operating systems. You can select any one of that. As of now I am using Windows, but if you know Linux, then it will be well and good. And sixth one is, you should be having general knowledge on GUI and CLI. Now let me tell you what is GUI and what is CLI. GUI stands for graphical user interface and CLI stands for command line interface. Okay, if you are selecting operating system, let me just take the example as Windows. If you are selecting Windows as your operating system, then you will be completely working on GUI based graphical user interface. Whenever you are creating any folder, you will be using the mouse. Okay, you will left click on this new and you will be creating the new folder. All that will be done on the click of a mouse. You will be using graphical user interface. Okay, you will be completely using graphical user interface. You are not going to use any command lines. But when you are using Linux, we will be using terminal, and inside that we will be writing all the commands. Okay, if you are using Linux as your operating system, then you should be aware of multiple commands. Linux will be very useful, and you should be aware of all the commands, how you have to create the folder in Linux, how you should add the user, how you should delete the user. Okay, there are plenty of commands inside Linux, and if you learn Linux, then it will be very useful in your career. Okay, so you should be having general knowledge on GUI and CLI. Okay, not the advanced level, just the basic if you just want to get started with backend developer. Once you keep on practicing, once you keep on exploring yourself, you will learn more about command line interface and graphical user interface. Okay, and these are some of the concepts you should be aware of. You should be aware of process management, how to manage the process, how to handle jobs, everything you should be aware. And also you should be aware of how to handle memory, how to handle input output management, and also you should be having the basic terminal commands. In Windows also we are having some basic terminal commands. If you know the basic commands in Windows, then you can just do the work. But in Linux, if you are working in Linux also, you can work in GUI, but in Linux mostly it is suggested that we are going to use CLI. Then you should know about basics of networking concepts, how we can connect to different networks using router, how switch is working, what are LAN, what are WAN, what are MAN. Okay, you should be having some basic concepts of networking, like what is network ID, what is broadcast ID, what is IP address, what are the difference between IPv4 and IPv6. Some basic knowledge you have to have regarding networking concepts. Okay, then finally you have to come to programming language. Whichever programming language you are comfortable and which programming language interests you the more, you have to select one programming language. You don't have to learn all the things. If you want to learn all the programming language, then well and good. But if you really want to focus on only one language, then select only one language and focus more on that language, master that language, and that language will be giving you more value. Okay, if you select JavaScript as your backend programming language, the advantage will be JavaScript will be working both as front-end and backend language. So you will be having one advantage if you select JavaScript. But we are having multiple programming languages. We are having Java, we are having Python, Ruby, C#. Whichever programming language interests you the most and whichever programming language you feel that is comfortable to you, and if you feel that you can master that programming language, you can select that programming language and you can start working on that one. You can start writing the logic of your website, you can start creating the forms, you can start sending the data to the server, you can start all the stuff whatever is required to do the backend programming language. Okay, now whatever work we have done, now we have to keep track of all the work whatever we have done. Suppose if you are writing the logic, you should keep track of the work. So we will be using here version control system. Okay, version control system is nothing but our Git. Using Git, you have to maintain all the changes whatever you have done to your project. Okay, so it is a free and open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. Whatever changes you are going to do, that will be stored inside that one, and whenever you require the previous change, you can just get that one. Okay, so Git is very useful. You have to learn whether it is front end or back end, you have to learn Git. Now once you learn Git, you should be learning about repo hosting services. We are having GitHub, we are having GitLab, and we are having Bitbucket. You can select any one of this. You don't have to select all three and you don't have to learn all three. If you select any one or if you learn any one, all three will be similar. Okay, so that you will not get confused. Okay, then we have to learn about databases. After learning about programming language, then we are going to jump to databases. And database is nothing but it is a collection of data, and the data will be stored in the form of rows and columns. And whenever we require the data will be accessed easily. Whenever we require the data, we can just send the request to the server and we will be getting the data. Okay, all the data will be stored inside the databases, and whenever we are sending the queries, using that query, the data will be fetched and that will be displayed to us. Okay, you should learn about databases. There are basically two types of databases. We are having relational database. A relational database is nothing but, okay, the data will be stored in the form of tables, and inside tables we will be having rows and columns. Okay, there are plenty of relational databases. You can select any one of this. If you are selecting PHP as a backend programming language, then MySQL is the database which suits most with the PHP. We are still having Oracle DB, we are having SQL Server. Okay, based on your requirement, based on your project requirement, and based on your programming language, whatever you have selected, you have to select databases according to your need. Then second type of database is non-relational database, and in this the data will not be stored in the form of tables. Data will be stored in the form of documents, in the form of collection. The data will be stored, and we are having MongoDB, we are having RethinkDB, we are having plenty of non-relational databases. Okay, if you want to become MERN stack developer, then you have to learn about MongoDB. There are many databases available in the market, so you should know the difference between relational database and non-relational database, and then you have to get started which database you have to select. Okay, based on the project requirement, you have to select. You don't have to select all the databases, you don't have to learn all the databases, you don't have to learn relational and non-relational databases, but you should know the basic difference between relational database and non-relational database, so that you will get to know when you have to use relational database and when you have to use non-relational database. Once you are done with learning the database, you have to learn some of the concepts here. You should know what are ACID properties. ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. If you have applied for a backend developer and if you are going for interview, then this is the must question they will be asking you. Okay, what are ACID properties? Okay, you should be telling about this, and it is nothing but whatever changes you are going to perform to the data, you will be performing as a single operation. Once you learn this one, you will be having better understanding of that. I don't want to explain you each and every concept here. I am just going to tell you what are the concepts you have to learn, so that you will be having clear idea, okay, from where you have to get started. Then you should learn about data normalization. Okay, data normalization is the important topic. Then we are having data replication, how to replicate the data. We are having n+1 problems. You have to learn about CAP theorem. You will be learning about this theorem if you want to become a backend developer. Then we are having transactions. Okay, you should learn how to transact the data. Okay, whenever you are not committing any changes, you have to roll back the data. How to do all the transactions, you have to learn that one. Then we are having indexes, and also you should know how they are going to work. Okay, and then we are having ORM. Okay, it is completely an ordinary library written in the language of our choice, and whatever data we are having, that is going to encapsulate the code, and using manipulation it will be very easy, so that once we use this ORM, we don't have to use SQL queries. We can directly interact with the objects in the same language. Okay, whatever language we are using, we can directly interact with that object and we can get the data. Okay, this is how ORM is useful. It is a simple library. Okay, you should learn all these concepts. Now once you are done with these concepts, you should be learning about APIs. Okay, API stands for application programming interface, and it will be acting as an interface. Okay, if you are having multiple applications, it will help us to communicate. Okay, to talk each other, we can use APIs. Using these APIs, we can talk to each other. Okay, using one application can talk to each other, they can communicate with each other. So you should know about APIs. And okay, now whatever data we are going to display, that data will be in dynamic format. Okay, it will not be in static format, it will be completely dynamic. Okay, based on the time or based on the requirement, the products or the things, it should be getting updated. So we have to use APIs and we have to fetch data from the API, and it is very useful application programming interface. It will be acting as an interface. Then we are having caching. You should learn about this concept. What is caching? You should know. Whenever you are visiting website for the very first time, the data will be stored inside cache. You have heard about cache. The data will be stored there, and second time if you are visiting, the data will be loaded from the cache and that will be displayed to you. No caching, each multi-step request is processed one by one. Okay, if the data is not stored inside cache, each and every step will be repeated and it will take longer time to execute. If the data is stored inside the cache, all the data will be stored inside the cache, and whenever we request for that data, it is going to send us the copy, and it will be very soon. Okay, so you should know about this caching. Then we are having web security knowledge. Okay, if you are doing backend programming language, as I told you, whatever code we are writing, that should not be visible to any user. Okay, so you should know how to protect our website, how you can give all the security to our website. So you should be having some knowledge, and you should learn some of the hashing algorithm. We are having MD5, SHA algorithm, script, bcrypt, we are having CORS, HTTPS, and also you should know about certificate, SSL certificate, and also content security risk. Okay, and this CORS stands for cross origin resource sharing. Okay, this CORS is nothing but it is HTTP header based mechanism, and that will allow server to indicate any origins. Like we are having domain, we are having schemes, we are having ports. Okay, we are having different domain names, different port numbers we are having. Okay, other than its own, from which all the browser should permit. Okay, whatever browser we are using, from which all the browser should permit to see that content. Okay, so we have to use this CORS. We are having plenty of concepts inside web security knowledge. We are having plenty of hashing algorithms, but as a backend developer, if you learn this many algorithms, that will be more than enough. Okay, then finally we have to learn testing. Once we are ready with the product, we have to do testing. Okay, we should be aware of this testing. Okay, we are having types of testings, like we are having unit testing, we are having integration testing, and also we are having functional testing. Inside integration testing, what we are going to do is, okay, we will be taking individual software modules and which will be combined and that will be tested. Okay, inside integration testing, we are going to do like that. Okay, that will be tested as a group, that individual products will be tested as a group. Then inside unit testing, okay, it is also a software testing method by which individual units of source code, okay, we will be having plenty of source code, so we will be taking individual modules of source code and we will be testing that one. We will be testing that individual modules, okay, with associated control data, usage procedures, we are having operating procedures, everything. Okay, to determine each and everything is working fine, we are going to do unit testing. And also we are having functional testing. Okay, basically we are having black box testing, okay, we are having white box testing. Okay, this functional testing comes under black box testing. Okay, functional testing is conducted to evaluate the compliance of a system or component with specified functional requirements. Okay, whether this requirement is getting satisfied or not, we have to test each and everything, only then we can deploy that project. Without that one, we cannot make the project live. Okay, unless and until we are done with proper testing, we cannot deploy the project, we cannot make our project live. So you should be aware of testing, what are the types of testing, how you can test each and individual modules, how we can test the software, everything you should be aware of that. Then we are having design and development principles, and these are the principles you have to know, and this is going to help you a lot. Okay, we are having solid principle. Okay, solid full form is single responsibility principle. O stands for open close principle. L stands for list of substitution principle. I stands for interface segregation principle, and D stands for dependency inversion principle. Okay, you should learn about this principle. Let me tell you, these are going to help you a lot. And we are having KISS, and the full form is keep it simple stupid. Okay, most of the people, what they are going to do is they are going to complicate the code. Okay, so that others will not understand, other developers will not understand what we are writing. So we should always keep it simple so that each and everyone will understand whatever we are writing. We should follow the procedure. We should write step by step whatever we are doing. We should be providing the proper comments. We should not complicate any code. Unless and until it is required, we should not complicate any code. We are having Yagni, and Yagni stands for you are not gonna need it. Now most developer, what they are going to do is they are going to create such software that is not needed at all. Maybe that will be needed in future, but as of now that is not needed. So we will be following this principle, Yagni, you are not gonna need it. Okay, as of now you are not going to need it, but later on you can need. So as of now you don't have to waste your time. We are having dry principle, do not repeat yourself. Okay, you will be aware of this one. We should not repeat our code, we should use functions. Okay, we are having multiple concepts inside this. You have to learn that one. You should not keep repeating your code. These are the must principle each and everybody has to learn. We are having domain driven design, we are having test driven designs. If you learn this principle, if you get the clarity how it is going to work, then it is going to help you a lot. Then we are having search engines. You have to learn about search engines. Okay, each and everybody's dream, whenever we are creating website, whenever some users search for the website, our website should rank in Google. Okay, each and everybody will think like that. So you have to learn about search engines. We are having Elasticsearch, we are having SOLR. You should learn about search engines, and it is nothing but it is a software system, okay, that is designed to carry web searches. They will be searching worldwide, and that results will be provided to you. If you have given proper content inside your website using search engines, we will be getting the result. Okay, most of the search engines, if you see Google, if you see Chrome, the search engines will be hidden. Okay, because they don't want anybody to see their code. Okay, they have hidden complete logic about the search engines, how the data will be searched, everything is hidden. So you should be aware of how search engine works. Whenever you are creating website, how you are going to rank in Google. Okay, you have to learn about search engines, how the user is going to search, how using keywords the user will be able to find the website. Okay, so you should know all about this one. Then we are having architectural patterns, and using this architectural patterns, we will be having various issues. Okay, whenever we are creating any software or any website, we will be having plenty of issues, like such as we are having hardware programming. Maybe that hardware will not be compatible with that one. We will be having limitations. Okay, we will be having minimization of a business. Okay, we will be having many problems whenever we are creating any software or any website. We should be able to tackle all that one, so that we will be using this architectural patterns, and this will be able to address all those issues. Okay, we are having all these things serverless. Okay, you can just refer this one. We are having microservice architecture, event sourcing and CORS, SOA. We are having service oriented architecture. Okay, you should just go through this process. You don't have to learn this entire thing. Once you master programming language, and from beginner level, if you jump to intermediate level, then you have to learn all these things. Then we are having message broker. Message brokers will be acting as an intermediate computer program module, and what it is going to do is it is going to translate the message in a formal way from the sender to the receiver. It is just going to format the message. Okay, you have to learn about this message brokers, and it will be acting as an intermediate computer programming module. So you should learn about message brokers. I'm just going through the concepts, whatever it is required. I'm not going through each and every topic in depth, because I will be making separate videos on each and every topic. As of now, you just have to know what are the concepts you require. Then we are having GraphQL, we are having Apollo, and we are having Relay. Okay, now it is designed, okay, as I told you, we are having APIs, application programming interface. Now this GraphQL, they are designed to make our APIs fast. Okay, whatever data we are getting, or whenever we are communicating or talking to each other application, okay, to make it flexible or to make it user friendly, it is designed. Okay, we are having Apollo, we are having Relay, we are having plenty of GraphQL. You can just refer any one of that. we are having graph databases. Okay, we have seen about databases. Basically, there are two types of databases, relational database and non-relational database. Inside relational database, the data will be stored in the form of tables. We will be having rows, columns, everything. And inside non-relational database, the data will be stored in the form of graphs or collections or documents. So graph database comes under non-relational database. Inside this, you will be storing the data which you cannot store inside relational database. So you should learn at least one of the graph databases. Without any hurdles, you will be able to work on non-relational database. And basically, it is designed as a specialized single-purpose platform for creating and manipulating graphs. And as we all know, inside graphs, we will be having nodes, we will be having edges, we will be having vertices, we will be having many properties, all of which are used to represent and store data. Okay, whatever properties we are having inside the graph that are used to represent and store data in a way that relational database cannot store. Okay, so we have to use graph databases. Then finally, once we are done each and everything, once we have learned all the concepts, then we have to learn about WebSockets. Basically, WebSocket is a protocol that enables interaction between a web browser and a web server. Now, web browser is nothing but our browsers. Okay, we are having Chrome, we are having Internet Explorer, we are having Firefox, any browser. Okay, and web server is nothing but where our data is stored. Okay, with lower header fade, then half duplex. Okay. Half duplex is nothing but if I am a sender and if you are receiver, we both can communicate. Okay, but we cannot communicate simultaneously. One person at a time can communicate. Okay, half duplex alternatives such as we are having HTTP polling, we are having facilitating real-time data transfer from and to server. Okay, I know most of you are most of you are overwhelmed by all these concepts. Maybe most of us are not aware of these concepts, but you have to learn if you want to become a backend developer. Okay, basically these are the questions that will be asked in interviews. So you should be aware of these concepts. If you don't know the entire thing, if you have not mastered this entire concept, then also no problem. But you should be aware that these concepts exist whenever we are learning backend programming or any, okay, whatever you are learning, you should be aware of, yes, this concept exists and this concept will be used here. Whatever you are learning, you are not just learning for learning purpose. You should be able to apply that one. Okay, whenever it is required, you have to apply that knowledge. You have to make your project working. Only then it will be useful. Learning anybody can do. Applying only few can do. So you should be focusing more on applying part. Okay, then finally we are having the last concept. We are having web servers, and web servers are nothing but whatever data we are sending, that will be stored inside the servers, and inside servers will be having, okay, whenever we request for data, server will do some process and that data will be sent to us. Okay, web servers we have to use, and web server is also nothing but it is a computer that is used to run websites. We are having plenty of web servers. We are having for mail, we are having for file transfer. Okay, whatever code we are writing, we will be storing inside the servers. And if you are creating website and if you want to store your website or if you want to host your website, then you have to buy servers. Okay, you have to buy space from the servers and you will be storing all the files there and your website will be hosted live. Okay, this is how we are going to work. And the last step is learning continues. We should never stop learning. We should never stop exploring. We should still keep on revising whatever we have learned. We should keep on practicing. We should keep on applying the knowledge. We should keep on making small projects so that it will be very useful and you will be able to remember the concepts. Okay, never stop learning. Learning continues in each and every field. Learning has no end. You can learn up to no limit. Okay, this is the complete roadmap to become a professional backend developer. If you are aware of all these concepts and if you learn all these concepts, not exactly thoroughly, at least if you know the basics of that one, you will be ready to become a backend developer. That's all for this video. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.